Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bryson from DENT SPORTS. Just wanted to let you guys know, you're probably wondering why this is podcast number 11 being uploaded for a second time. Well, the biggest reason is because on the same night we recorded two podcasts. One of them was for NHL and one of them was for NBA. This particular one, I had thought that I was uploading was the NBA one, and turned out that it was actually the NHL one. So as a result of that, I had written in the description and everything that this was a video talking about the NBA news, when in fact, it had nothing to do with it. It was actually an NHL hockey video. So, with that being said, podcast number 11 is actually an NHL hockey breakdown with me, Bennett from the Quip Joint, and then the two guys from DENT SPORTS, Don and Steve. So as a result of that, we hope you enjoy listening to this. Sorry for the mix-up there, but this is actually an NHL video. We're going to be breaking down the Bruins, the Avalanche, the Red Wings, as well as the LA Kings, and how they're doing so far. So enjoy the content. Sorry for the screw-up. I'm still kind of learning how to do everything, and I just made an honest mistake on that one, so sorry about that. But either way, hope you enjoy the content, and the NBA video will be coming soon as well, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's up? Another podcast here. This is podcast number 11 for DENT SPORTS. And today we've got, I believe, what is our first official hockey video for the NHL for this channel, at least. I think over on DENT SPORTS there's been a couple of videos where it was brought up and mentioned and talked about a little bit maybe. But I know on this channel we haven't gotten into it too much, and, you know, for better or for worse.
Yeah. No, there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about here.
Yeah.
Those of you following the Detroit and Denver Sports Channel, you guys know about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to be following.
Well, there's plenty to be following. It's just not all.
If you're an Avalanche fan, there is. But everybody else,
Get a little bit more entertaining for us, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It all depends, as usual, injury bug, as usual for that team.
Yep, exactly. Well,
I thought we were going to go have a pretty much a clean sweep season where, you know, we just won every game, went into the playoffs, and swept all the way through to the finals. But
apparently the team had the wrong idea because they stopped that on the opening night.
The team I thought we were isn't the team we are. So.
Well, I mean, I mean, the goal is to win 16 games, but that's once you get into the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, apparently there was a confusion somewhere.
Yeah. So I guess the Red Wings are trying to duplicate the Lions record. They have about 5 wins on the season there, so we're on our way.
Yep, they're doing a great job.
Speaking of which,
I was gonna say. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and start out with the Red Wings. They're 2-4-1 thus far.
We just got lost. We just had another loss tonight. Another tough loss. You know,
tough game.
Yeah, another one that we should have lost, but we did. So, you know,
snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
We're pretty good at that these days. It's nice to know that, you know, we're now the doormat of the league, where we used to be the kings of the league. So,
I was going to say, well, welcome back to the Central Division again. Of course, we left.
Yeah,
just in time for you to get back in there. But
we're looking good.
It was good to see, you know, Chicago this weekend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, we can continue our losing ways with them. So it's just one of those things where things in Red Wing land are going well. You know, the uniforms look nice. That's about all I can say.
He's using my strategy.
Well, it's also nice to, you know, that they, you know, gave you the Lightning and ended the Central, you know, which is really good. I mean, to have the, you know, defending Cup champions and one who were usually in the finals, and, you know, almost every year the last several years, you know, thrown into the Central where they used to be in the I think it was the Atlantic, if I remember right. Yeah, Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Before all this COVID thing, again, with everything being reshuffled with this COVID, situation where they're trying to get all the teams into their geographical locations in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that seems a little weird that I know it's going across country borders, but the whole bunch of Canada, from west to east is in one division. So it's definitely a different year. So it's going to take a little bit to get used to. On who's where and who's playing who.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you talk about the Red Wings, there's so many positives to mention.
I was going to say, it's hard to focus on just one.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're scoring 2 goals a game and giving up, over 3 a game. So, I mean, that's a recipe for, success if you've ever seen it, right?
Generally.
And shots on goal, getting killed in that area, that's always good. Power play goals, we're losing that area as well. Assist, we're getting out assists every night. Opportunities we're only down by 1, so that's not too bad. So, hey, but we're beating people in penalty minutes. So that's always good. So we're spending more time in the box than the opposing team is. So that's another key to victory.
Always be on the man disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want to be in, right?
Yeah.
So that way, too, we're losing the shorthanded goals scenario, so that's also good.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, things are just going really well here in Detroit.
It's just another great year at Joe Louis.
Yeah, exactly. It's just another fine Detroit sports outing.
Yeah.
So all you Detroit fans out in the area, if you're hyped to go see some good hockey, head on over to Joe Louis. Watch the Wings, man. Big things on the horizon there. And then once that ends, head on over to the Pistons, and you can watch some great basketball. So,
I was going to say, for all you guys that were upset that, every time you turn on your TV on a Sunday, the Lions were on there losing and you thought you were going to have to stop watching just know that, if anything, you're about to get spoiled because there's 3 other teams
coming
on at once. You can flip from one to the other and watch losing all over. So
yeah, I mean, if the Lions' depression wasn't enough to send you over to death, maybe the Tigers or the Pistons or possibly the Red Wings.
Well, I mean that's the beautiful thing about springtime in Detroit, right? You got 3 opportunities to watch high quality team.
Yeah, the team that they're playing is always high quality.
I was gonna say you're always in good shape to watch somebody good. Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the court or the ice or the field.
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, springtime, it gives you a little pep in your step, a little skip in your thing. I mean, and you get to watch those 3 teams perform.
Well,
on a nightly basis.
Not only that, but with the expectations coming into the season, that hey. The Lions, as much as you want to give them a bunch of crap, they actually are generally predicted to do better in terms of the overall standings than the other teams. Their win percentage is higher generally than the other teams. Wow. They're not projected to be dead last like the Pistons and the Red Wings were this year. So,
and the Tigers as well. The Tigers are supposed to be horrible, a dumpster fire. So
so from that standpoint,
there's all kinds of positives in Detroit right now.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, the Lions aren't doing half bad.
Yeah,
they're one of the better teams in Detroit.
From that standpoint, you're correct.
They're one of the better teams in Detroit right now. Actually, they're probably the best.
Yeah.
At 4 wins.
No, I totally agree from that standpoint.
The same.
Yeah.
But
it's like I said, the jerseys look good, so that's always a positive.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, though, the Red Wings are kind of in limbo right now. They got a lot of young players. They're trying to basically rebuild.
What?
Steve Yzerman, Stevie Y. He's got a large job ahead of him to get it fixed, but I think he might be the right man for the job. I think he's the right guy to do it. I think he'll get it turned around, hopefully, and we'll see some wins coming in the near future. But
Until
then, just be happy that you're in the league. You know? Just be happy you're part of the NHL.
Hey, just remember, Detroit and rebuild. That's all you need to know.
Hey, it goes hand in hand.
I was going to say, until then, if you're a season ticket holder or something, just look forward to those games when you get to see some quality of play on the other side.
I was going to say, if I'm a ticket holder, I'm going to like, hey, can't you guys rebuild the ticket prices that way? You know, since you're putting out this crap product, how about not charging me as much?
Amen.
You know, to watch this junk on the field.
Well, there's nobody in the stands right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, once they get back too, it's just like, you know, hey.
Yeah. Well, by then we'll be great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know, like during the Rocky season, especially, you know, like you said, those years when they're always out by June. You know, they have the dollar sale, you know, for the rock pile, and they have like, you know, $2 tickets. So, hey, it is what it is, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they get the beer down, that's going to be the main one.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying the price of the ticket, but as long as the beer's cheap.
Yeah. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, though, I mean, it's been rough for the Pistons so far, but I mean, it's not really anything that should surprise anyone. I mean,
What do you mean?
they weren't projected to do well, but I mean, like you say, you got new ownership. I mean, not new ownership, but new management or whatever, and then you also got, I think, a new coach, right?
No, same coach.
Oh, same coach. Oh, okay. Well, either way, I mean, the new guy's coming in, and it's going to be a while before he kind of gets.
There's no talent.
Yeah, so you got a couple players here and there, but apart from that, not nearly the team to compete with some of the better teams. Like,
what do you mean?
Like the
but then the other night
Senators.
They beat the Sixers, so I mean, it gets your hopes up already. Like, you know, hey,
well, yeah,
we just beat one of the best teams in the East, so hey, why is this team winning more?
Exactly.
Yeah, and
it's fake news.
Yeah, exactly. And tonight they, had it out with the coulda shoulda won the game that they had tonight against the
Stars.
The Stars, who's generally pretty tough too, and they were in the finals last year. So.
Oh yeah, no, we're all you can ask is to be competitive, and so when we're losing games by 1 goal, that means we're in the game. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we meet up with somebody like the Avalanche or something where we lose 8-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, we will. But while we're
another wonderful season.
Yeah, exactly. While we're on the losing train, I guess let's head over to the Kings land.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what?
You can't say that right now. They got a winning record.
Well, I mean, they got 3 wins, 2 overtime losses, and 2 losses. But you know what? They're sitting 4th in their division currently. So that's not too bad compared to how they have been the last couple seasons. I mean, but still a lot of games left. I'm a huge fan of our goalie that we got currently. Jonathan Quick, he's one of the best probably in the whole all of hockey.
Yes, he is.
We just got a win against the Wild tonight after losing to them twice to start the season. And the sad part about it was, both games were 4-3 ending score.
Mm-hmm.
How we managed to lose 4-3 twice in a row is beyond me, but stuff happens. I mean, defense has got to be better, and we got to be able to put it in the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's what it amounts to.
That's the problem. Most of the games I've watched of us this year, the main thing that we've struggled with is scoring.
Mm-hmm.
The defense really hasn't been all that bad. So, it's... Plus, when we're giving up power plays constantly, what are you going to do? You're going to give up a goal at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, I think biggest thing that I noticed is, much like you in the NHL, video game, the Kings are very much the same, where they can't stay out of the penalty box. And when that happens, you're already kind of struggling a little bit as it is, and when that happens, then you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball. But I do like their coach, though. I think he's gonna be a good fit for that team.
Yeah, I especially noticed it in the game that we lost to the Avalanche.
What?
That was just a tough game. I mean, we kept on getting penalties, and they ended up scoring a couple times on us. Well, and actually, the few times that we scored were only because we had a power play. So I mean, that just goes to show you.
That means the power play is working good, though. So that's something to be positive about.
Well, I mean, still, but when that's your only source of points, you're not going to win games very often.
Yeah. Well, you're much further along than we are. You're not a dumpster fire, so I wouldn't be too worried yet.
We'll see. The nice thing, at least the nice thing is that you'll finally get to play actually some competition in your division. So they're going to get rid of the Flames, the Oilers, and the Canucks for you. And they're actually bringing in real teams like Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were losing to those teams. So
no, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That actually, in your division this year, the competition is going to be stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll really get tested.
So you'll have to play every night. So this will definitely get quick skills, sharpened.
Yeah,
real fast, Mother Bob.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But coming up, I mean, I think over the first 30 games, we're going to be playing the Wild. We would have played the Wild 7 times over like the first half of the season. So I mean, it's
sounds like fun.
I mean, it's extremely crazy that we play them so often this early. I mean, I don't understand it, but unfortunately, that's just how it works sometimes.
Well, there is no more playing East teams or any
really?
teams that are
I didn't realize that.
Now everything's in a general geographical location per se.
Yeah.
Even though the West is the most non-geographical one out of them all.
Yeah.
Besides the North, which is Canada, but I mean, you go from California all the way out to Missouri, for St. Louis. So, actually even to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing, but it's just under this shortened season and being geographical, it's definitely wild on it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah. But yeah, it is wild.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next team. Who is it?
Who do we want to talk about?
Boston, actually.
Okay.
Speaking of Christmas gifts, they pull out the Tampa Bay Lightning out of your division.
I know. We have to play those freaking clowns every damn year.
And Toronto, your other friends from the North.
I know.
They're not out of there either.
Don't miss them.
But then again, I mean, if you're having to play the Lightning, I mean, they won. What?
We're not playing the
Stanley Cup.
No, they're not.
We're not playing the Lightning anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
When you had to play them every year, you knew.
It's tough games.
Yeah, it's tough games.
Well, and you knew what to expect come playoff time because we had to play them throughout the season.
Yeah, so I mean, in some cases, I would look at that as kind of a disadvantage, but I mean, I think having to play them would.
No, I mean, you know how great it is. I mean, they take away the Lightning and they give you the Sabres.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, I'm sweating now.
You know what I mean? Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, here's the Devils too.
Yeah.
We'll give you those guys as well.
Well, we already lost to them this season.
I just would rather have to play them.
Tuukka was missing.
Yeah, well, we beat them in overtime one game in a shootout, and then we lost to them in an overtime the other. I'm like, wow, okay.
Off nights.
Yeah, here we go. But then we sweep the Flyers, and it's like, what on earth is going on here? We can't handle the Devils?
Yeah, it looks like to me that, just like that, it's probably going to be, Capitals, Bruins, Flyers, Penguins will probably be, which are the ones right at the top right now. Mm-hmm. That's probably going to, take the top 4 playoff spots, I would guess, out of that section.
no surprise really.
Yeah.
I mean, those are common people. It's just now they're all in the same division as opposed to meeting up come playoff time.
Exactly.
But from what I've watched of it, which I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've seen every single game. I haven't seen much, but what I have watched, they look pretty much the same as most of the other times. There are times when I watch them and I think, wow, we're really doing a lot of good things here. And then there's other times where they look like they definitely are not the best team. And I think generally their playoff history and stuff in the last handful of years would reflect about what I think of them this year, which is they look like a team that's going to be, in the playoffs and probably maybe make it out of the first round, but I don't necessarily.
And with the Red Wings, and you always gotta expect to lose.
Yeah,
yada,
exactly.
Yada, yada.
Exactly.
It's over.
I mean, they.
Commonplace.
Mm-hmm. But one thing,
one
thing that I do like that I've seen so far is it seems like especially in the games that I watch, but even in the ones that I haven't, on average. We have 161 shots on goal to the opponent's 113. Now, I realize, some of that is like against some people you have more, and then against some we had less, and they just kind of average out. But in general, beating the opponent by over 40 goals, shot attempts, that's going to result in winning quite a few games because eventually one of those suckers is going to fall through.
The more shots you put in there, the better chance you got of winning.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but then on the same token, it's like, we're averaging 161 shots on goal, but the average goals per game is 2.6. So, I mean, in certain games that I've watched especially, it seems like, it's nice to get a bunch of shots on goal, but it seems like kind of disorganized play. It's like, oh, okay, well, the puck just happens to float over to this guy, so he's going to shoot it. And then, I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more organized play out of the Bruins because at times it looks kind of wonky out there. But I also know that's just kind of how hockey is sometimes. I mean, you go in with an idea, but at the end of the day, when you got people flying at you and stuff, you're really just trying to, do what you can. And even the best teams probably have their moments where that's what happens because, based on the defense or whatever the case may be. But in general, though, I really like a lot of the things that I'm seeing. I definitely think there are some areas we need to improve on. And in order to do so, I think that, or in order to really go somewhere come playoff time. But, it's still early in the season like we talked about before, so I'm not necessarily too concerned. And, I mean, like I said, past history, I mean, we generally make it to the playoffs at least. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we get in there and then come playoff time, it almost seems like it doesn't matter what you do during the regular season because some teams always seem to do better in the playoffs and other teams that do better in the regular season tend to fall out in the playoffs, like the Capitals, for instance. I mean, they're perennially one of the best teams during the regular season, but can't seem to win a thing when it comes to playoff time. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, we've done pretty good so far. I think we've only lost a couple of games, and I think 2 of the ones that we lost were in overtime. So, like he said before, we still got points for it. So, therefore, we're, I think, first or second in the Eastern Division right now, which, when you got the Sabres and some of these teams in there, you're in the Devils. I mean, shoot, you better be just hoping to get to overtime to lose,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to just go in there expecting a W every time. So, but, so I think with that being said, should we go ahead and move on?
I was going to say with the Bruins, it's definitely going to be, how far Tuukka can take them.
Mm-hmm.
If he's off, then they're going to be off. If he's there and he plays like he does normally, they're going to have a good chance of going far.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on however Tuukka goes.
Yeah, with
that team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like last season when he sat out due to COVID or whatever for the playoffs. There was I'm not saying that.
No, they still played well.
Halak is horrible, but he's not ready to be the main thing yet. And I think with Tuukka not being in there, it was a definite noticeable thing. I mean, teams were shooting us up like crazy. And generally, you can allow for some of that. Like when we played against, I think it was the Blues that knocked us out. I mean, there were games where they just literally were lighting us up. And against Tuukka, I mean, a lot of those things wouldn't be happening as much. But I mean, even in games like come playoff time when, they're spending a lot of time on our end of the ice, Tuukka can still, make up for some of the lack of offense that we have at times. But when he's not out there, yikes. But, I mean, with that being said, I really like some of the play that I see from some of the people. I mean, I'm a huge Patrice Bergeron fan, and I also really like, obviously, Brad Marchand, Charlie McAvoy. Those are some really good players on our team, and we're actually keeping them, which is like, holy crap, can some of my other teams, get on board with that? It's like when you have great players, actually, like, contract them to stay instead of like, oh, we don't need you. Have fun on another team. Not that anyone else at this table would know anything about that.
No. But again, goalies in NHLs like quarterbacks in the NFL.
Absolutely.
If you've got a good one, you're going to be pretty stout.
Absolutely.
For the season.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, you're just going to have a sieve back there, and you're just going to leak so many goals back there. It's like having no defense.
Yep.
But again, they got to have defensemen in front of them too to help spray some of those pucks. But those goalies do definitely make up for a lot of weak play on the back end. So.
Absolutely. And we have plenty of it at times. I mean, even tonight, we were up by 2-0 against the Penguins, and then from the start of the third period, it looked like a different team out there. And I was like, what the hell am I watching here? And then, it ended up going to overtime, and we snuck out a win. But there was a breakaway play where literally it was two people from the other team, the Penguins, going down, and it was just Tuukka standing there because they stole it from the people in the back court or the back ice, whatever it's called. And I'm like, what the hell are you people doing? And it was literally a fast break. But Tuukka was able to stop it, and then we had the same situation going their way, and we scored on it because their goalie wasn't Tuukka Rask. I mean, as simple as that. So, but anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much with the Bruins. I mean, I'd say it's about average for what they usually do right now. I mean, they look like one of the better teams, maybe not looking like the best team, but they definitely look like they're going to, be a playoff contender and stuff like that. So pretty much the usual stuff for them.
Yep. I like it.
Yep. Alrighty. Now let's move on to the Avs, who so far have pretty much avoided the injury bug, right? Somewhat.
No,
not really.
They got one guy injured, and of course, one of the free agents that they picked up in the first shift of the first game goes out with a concussion. So, but he's back now. But
of course,
it's usual. Yeah, it's just battling injuries. But the team itself, though, is lined up pretty damn good. We've got a lot of free agents that we were able to pick up, and actually tonight I saw one of the rookies is getting in there too, kind of like McCarr did the previous year during the playoffs, right? So when it comes down to the, maybe the end of this 56 game thing, that he might be in full stride or at least understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
With it, but I mean, added depth. So we don't have to rely on the McKinnon and Landeskog and Ratton line to get all the goals. So it's getting where we can actually score pretty much 1 through 4, lines 1 through 4, which is kind of like a Tampa Bay thing, where it's like, okay, that's what you need to do. And then if we can get health and solid goalie play by Grubauer, so he was, with the Capitals during their cup run. So if he can play like he normally does, that's going to help with us. I mean, he's not, I don't think, elite, Flacco-ish, elite, but he's solid. I mean, if we had another goalie like Quick or Rask, I think it would be over for the league. But we don't, or the guy from Tampa, I forgot his name. That stand on their head and do whatever they need to do to block goals. It wouldn't be pretty, but we'll just have to see if they gel. It looks good though on paper, and so far there's been games where they've actually looked like look like a dominant team.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're averaging 3 goals. That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Giving up, 2.5. So, I mean, that bodes well for a lot of victories. And, I mean, the shots on goal, another dominant performance there. So, I mean, when you're getting that kind of stuff, power play goals are 10-3.
Yeah, I think the other night they went 5 out of 6 on power play goals against them, but it was like ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's just they have depth through every line, and when you got that, you're looking pretty good for the year.
And unlike the rest of our teams here, your team's actually not, winning the penalty minutes. Like, you're actually having less penalty minutes than the other team, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Unlike us, we're not only are we bad, we're going to go ahead and
help you out,
compound it by
by playing 1 or 2 guys down.
Yeah. So so that's another area where it's like that's a huge advantage, a huge plus, and I mean it's nice. I know what good hockey looks like, and that's what they do. We used to see that in Detroit years ago. So, not now, but maybe someday we'll get back to it.
Yeah, and like I said, the nice thing I like about it is, everybody's still young, and I mean, they're hitting their prime right now. So if we're able to make another run, this is going to be it. Mm-hmm. So again, we'll see, what they do. I mean, like I said, I cannot state enough what the job that Sakic's done as a GM. To put this team by trading away some high-priced players to get draft choices and X, Y, and Z, and those draft choices have hit, and they've actually panned out to go with the talent that they've had, and they've picked up again, like it just the free agents. They're putting in the pieces that they need to do. So, I mean, and it's everywhere. It's just it's defensemen.
Exactly.
It's centers. It's wingers. They're putting it together.
You said a mouthful when you said the fourth line scoring.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, hell, our first line can't score. Your fourth line scoring. I mean, it's just one of those things. So, I mean, there's definitely I see good things on the horizon for the Avs this year.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it too is it's kind of a similar thing that we talked about with the Broncos in the football, except for it's a little bit different because your team actually still made it. But, I mean, those guys that had to fill in for all the injuries last year got some valuable experience playing in big minutes in the Stanley Cup stuff last year. And even though they didn't end up winning, I mean, it's going to pay off.
They were 4 minutes from winning, and they just totally choked.
Yep.
I mean, they scored with 4 minutes to go against Dallas in Game 7.
Yep.
And then gave up the tying goal like 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
It was like, but again, as usual, like I said, third string goldie, X, Y, and Z. But it was just like, oh god, with it. But again, guess what they did though? And again, kudos to Sakic, right? Well, we're obviously lacking in something, right? And so he went out and got more weapons to throw at it, and so again, kudos.
He's done a hell of a job. Yeah. I mean, he's probably GM of the year, really. So I like I said, kudos to the Avalanche. I mean, it's nice when you have a team playing that solid, where you can expect to see good things happening and wins and.
Well, and like we said, the nice thing I love about it is that the kids that why I've seen them or all this stuff when they were with the team, they were able to keep them there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was no all of a sudden we got to get rid of McKinnon. No. They were actually we can play with McKinnon now. We'll start putting in more pieces around him and X, Y, and Z, and that's kind of what we've always said that what you need to do with all of our teams is if you have a young nucleus, stay with them, keep adding pieces as you go. Yeah. Until X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, not just keep replacing the same positions.
Not all of a sudden okay, like OKC, right? Oh, okay, we're going to dismantle Westbrook, Harden, Durant. Okay, we're going to rebuild again. And then, okay, we're going to get rid of this guy again. We're going to rebuild again. What I mean? It's just that constant.
Yeah, we wouldn't need
process.
to rebuild if you
if you actually kept the players and paid them what they needed to do because you have a good team. Mm-hmm. But again, it's whoever's running it.
Yeah,
which I'm surprised because Kroenke's a cheap SOB. So I'm surprised they let the purse strings go, I guess, for a little bit with Joe. And so, I mean, I'm like, oh, okay, well, good for you.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of attribute that to the Kings in one aspect. I mean, they've managed to keep Quick around for a long time, so, props to them for not just
letting
saying,
him fly out the door.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to what he was talking about, like, if you got nice players, don't throw them away. I mean, you got guys that you can build around,
You
like,
got to.
I mean, add players
to. Be the Lions.
How do you think the Kings won their last Stanley Cup? I mean, they had nice players, and I mean, I'm pretty sure actually Quick was the goalie around that time when he was.
No, it was when he was in his prime per se. Because I know now he's a little bit longer in the tooth, but you got to keep him on because again, he's better than 3/4 of the goalies out there in the league. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you get it done. I mean, if you got a solid nucleus, you build around them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't trade them away and rebuild like.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, that's what usually happens to teams that always flounder or go backwards. That's what they do.
Yeah, or that always are in the same spot but can never take the next step.
Yep.
It's like, oh, wow. It's like the Spider-Man thing, right? Mm-hmm. 3 Spider-Mans pointing at each other. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one thing I can say about the Bruins is like, I never was really somebody that watched a lot of hockey, but I turn on a Bruins game and I recognize a good portion of the team. It's like, oh yeah, Marchand, I know him. Krejci, or however you pronounce his name, Krejci. And Tuukka Rask and some of these guys, it's like, oh yeah, Patrice Bergeron, they've been on the team forever. So, or at least some of them. I mean, I know some of them are more new, but
yeah, there's usually only but again, they do the smart thing that once they do get long in the tooth, they dump them away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like Lucci, and because he was ended up in the Islanders, and I think he was in Dallas. I think he might have been at one time. He's been. Floating around, he got a little bit older, and they're like, okay, we'll let him go, and then we'll replace it with somebody else.
Yep.
So that's with it. But as far as, like you said, the nucleus. But again, just like you said, every team has to go through it because, again, eventually players get old, and you have to make the decisions on if you need to get rid of them or not. But I think the smart thing to do is till they hit that point where the question marks start going, keep them and build around them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the teams that do that well, it shows, and the teams that don't, it also shows. So, but anyways, I think we'll probably go ahead and cap off this video here. Another exciting video, and it's nice to get into some hockey. I know I've really enjoyed actually really paying attention more to it this year. Because in the past, it's always been like, yeah, I like watching hockey, but then I never actually do it until Stanley Cup, and then I'm like, man, I wish I'd been watching it so I know what's going on. But this year, I'm actually paying more attention to it, and it's been pretty fun. So definitely more hockey videos on the way, and make sure you also tune into DENT SPORTS so you get to hear their hockey breakdowns and stuff that are coming out. And, as far as basketball goes, also check out the Clip Joint for all things Clippers over there. And we got plenty of Clippers, hockey, all that stuff on this channel. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you check out some of our other stuff. We got all different sports and fighting and all kinds of stuff. So anyways, I guess we'll cap the video off here. Thank you guys for listening. And I'm Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
Steve.
I'm Don.
And we'll see you guys in the next podcast.